Today we are diving deep into your body's incredible communication network. We're talking about a tale of two messengers, the fast-acting neurotransmitters and the slow and steady hormones. They're very different, but both are absolutely vital. So let's just start with this question. How do the trillions of cells that make you, actually talk to each other? I mean, how do they coordinate everything from a fleeting thought to a full-on sprint? How does every part of you know what every other part is doing?
Well, the answer is kind of like a giant internal postal service. But instead of letters and Amazon packages, your body is constantly sending out chemical messages. And these little messengers are the entire secret to how everything, and I mean everything, works together.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get a better look at this postal service. Then, we're going to meet the sprinters of the system, the neurotransmitters. After that, it's the broadcasters, the hormones. Then, for the main event, we'll put them side by side for a head-to-head comparison. And we'll wrap it all up with a really cool plot twist about some chemical double agents and mixed signals.
Okay, first up, the sprinters. When you think neurotransmitters, I want you to think fast. We're talking about lightning-quick, super local communication that happens inside your nervous system.
So what is one exactly? Well, a neurotransmitter is a chemical that one nerve cell, a neuron, sends to the neuron right next to it. And it sends it across this impossibly tiny gap called a synapse. It's basically a point-to-point microscopic whisper between two cells.
And you've definitely heard of some of these guys. You've got dopamine, that's the one that makes you feel reward and motivation. Serotonin, which is all about mood and sleep. Then there's glutamate, which is basically the main go signal in your brain. And GABA, which is its opposite, the main stop signal. Oh, and acetylcholine, that's the chemical that tells your muscles, hey, contract now.
You know, the easiest way to think about them is it's like instant messages. You send a text to one specific person, right? It gets there almost instantly, and the message is just for them. That's a neurotransmitter. Fast, direct, and sent to a very specific recipient.
Now, let's switch gears and meet our other messenger, the hormones. So if neurotransmitters are the sprinters, hormones are the marathon runners. Or maybe an even better way to put it is they're the public broadcasters. Their game isn't about speed, it's about sending a message far and wide.
So a hormone is a chemical that gets made in special glands, and then, this is key, it gets dumped right into your bloodstream. You can think of your bloodstream as this massive highway system. Hormones just hop onto that highway and travel all over your body looking for target cells that could be super far away.
And again, I bet you recognize a lot of these names. Cortisol, the famous stress hormone. We've got insulin, which is crucial for managing your blood sugar, testosterone and estrogen, which are huge players in development, and of course, growth hormone, which, pretty much does exactly what it sounds like.
So the perfect analogy here is a public radio broadcast or maybe a mass email. The signal goes out everywhere in the body, but, and this is super important, it only has an effect on the cells that have the right kind of antenna or receiver to tune in to that specific message. Okay, so we've met our two messengers. Now it's time to put them right next to each other, head to head, so we can really see what makes them so different.
If you remember just one thing, let it be this. Neurotransmitters are all about being fast and local. Hormones are all about being slow and widespread. This one idea right here really is the core difference between their strategies.
Let's really dig into the details with this chart. Look at how they travel. Neurotransmitters just jump that tiny synaptic gap. Hormones take a road trip through the whole bloodstream. That, right there, determines their target. Is it the neuron next door or a cell on the other side of the body? And just look at the speed. We're talking milliseconds for a neurotransmitter versus seconds, minutes, or even longer for a hormone. That also means a hormone's effects can last way, way longer. It really all comes back to where they're made. Neurons make the sprinters, and glands make the long-distance broadcasters.
But you know, just when you think you've got it all sorted out into these nice, neat little boxes, biology comes along and just throws a wrench in the works. And this is where it gets really interesting, when the rules start to bend. So let me just ask this, what if a chemical could actually do both jobs? What if it could be a super specific instant message 1 minute and a system-wide broadcast the next?
Well, it turns out it can. Meet epinephrine. You probably know it as adrenaline. In your brain, it acts like a neurotransmitter, keeping you alert. But when your adrenal glands pump it into your blood, it becomes a hormone, kicking off that whole fight-or-flight response for your entire body. It's the exact same molecule, just doing two totally different jobs depending on where it is. How cool is that?
But the plot twists don't stop there. It also gets pretty complicated when we look at the message itself. Is it really always as simple as just go or stop?
Now, for neurotransmitters, the two most basic signals are excitatory, which is like a green light telling the next neuron to fire, and inhibitory, which is a red light telling it to hold up, don't fire. And as we said before, glutamate is the main green light and GABA is the main red light. Simple enough, right? Well, not quite. Look at this. Glutamate and GABA are pretty straightforward, sure. Green light, red light. But then you see some of the most famous ones, like dopamine and acetylcholine, and they're listed as mixed. Wait a minute. How can something be both a green light and a red light at the same time? What's the deal with that?
And here is the single most important takeaway from all of this. The effect of the message isn't actually in the messenger itself. It all depends on the receptor on the cell that receives it. Think of the neurotransmitter as a key, and the receptor as the lock. That same key can open one door, but it could also be used to lock a different door. It all depends on the lock it fits into.
All right, so let's boil this all down. What do you need to remember? Number 1, neurotransmitters are fast, local, instant messages. Number 2, hormones are slower, widespread broadcasts. Number 3, some amazing chemicals, like adrenaline, are double agents. They can be both. And number 4, and this is the big one, the meaning of the message is all about the receiver, not just the sender.
And that leaves us with one final big idea to think about. If this incredible, complex dance of chemicals is what defines how you feel, how you think, and how you act from one second to the next, then it kind of makes you wonder, who's really in control here?